Hi, I'm Jenni Lessard. I'm a chef and culinary consultant, and I'm here today at the Mama-Way to Town Centre at Scott Collegiate in Regina, Saskatchewan on Treaty 4 territory and the homeland of the Métis. And I'm here with the head instructor, Kelly Christopherson. Tell me a little bit about the program, Kelly.
So the Tourism and Hospitality Pathway program is a high school program out of Scott Collegiate where students spend 3 years learning about the industry and learning to run the Mama-Way Cafe, which is a restaurant that's open to the public.
Right over there.
Yeah. In grade 11, the students begin to explore Indigenous tourism and Indigenous culinary. And we draw lots of our inspiration from different Indigenous chefs. And we are very lucky to have a partnership with Chef Jenni Lessard.
I feel like I'm the lucky one because I get to work with you and your amazing students. And we have one right here. We have Phoenix Ishnana from the Zakame and Anishinaabe First Nation on Treaty 4 territory. And we're going to make sage, wild rice, and cranberry cookies with canola oil today. Phoenix, let's get started. Are you ready to bake?
I'm definitely ready to
Okay. So what are we going to start out with? Are we going to do our wet ingredients first?
We're going to be putting in the oil and the sugars first, and then we're going to cream it together, and then put the eggs in, and then the baking powder and baking soda, which I call the bakings, and then the flour, and then the mixed ingredients of cranberries, sage, and puff wild rice.
I love that you call the dry ingredients the bakings. That makes so much sense. We're using canola oil. It helps keep the cookie really soft and moist. And I notice you use a lot of canola oil in the kitchen. Why am I touching this? You're cooking. Go ahead. I'll get out of the way. Okay, so we've got about a cup, or 3/4 of a cup of canola oil. Yep. Brown sugar. I think you could probably use dark brown sugar, but light brown sugar is what we have here. Either one's probably good. Eh? White sugar. Are you going to mix that by hand, or do you usually use an electric mixer?
I personally use an electric mixer.
Okay, let's mix it up.
Haha, I have figured it out. Oh my god. It's getting messy.
Nice. Oh, it smells. It smells so good.
It does.
Yum.
I like the smell of sugars, honestly.
Yes. Almost smells caramelized already. And what's next?
Okay, so next we would be cracking the eggs.
Okay.
And then creaming that.
Oh.
Oh, that was perfect.
Perfect.
That was perfect.
Don't you love it when you crack a perfect egg?
Oh, yeah. That rarely happens, honestly, but you know.
When it does.
Okay.
On to the bakings.
On to the bakings, yes, definitely.
Baking soda.
I don't know the difference.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, visually.
One was baking soda, one was baking powder.
Yes.
1 teaspoon baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon baking soda. And you're just going to combine that. It's a fairly healthy recipe. We've got the cranberries, the sage, which is a traditional, like a medicine, but also we use it in our food a lot too. And that's our only seasoning. We're not doing vanilla. We're not doing cinnamon. Well, you're allergic to cinnamon, so that's why we're not doing cinnamon, I think. We could probably use a different dried berry if we wanted to. Would you ever use like a dried Saskatoon or something like that? Or do you think we'd stick with the cranberries for this?
I mean, I personally would love to experiment, but because I'm used to doing this type of recipe, because I've worked with these kind of ingredients, I would personally do this first.
Okay. Try it out. Try this recipe first and then kind of riff on it later.
Definitely.
All right. And the canola oil has actually the least amount of saturated fats of any of the plant-based oils. And it also has vitamin E for your skin and vitamin K. All right. What is next?
Very slowly.
Okay.
My multitasking skills.
I'll hold that steady.
Come in handy now.
So I feel useful. I'm steadying the bowl.
Thank you so much.
So you really love baking, don't you, Phoenix?
I honestly do. It's fun because you can be very creative with it, a little bit more so than in cooking, because we can use like sprinkles and like stuff, which is so much more fun than using spices.
And do you like using, like, I know last year we went out in a snowstorm and harvested rose hips together. Do you like doing that kind of thing and kind of
fun.
getting outside the kitchen sometimes?
I like it. I think it's fun because it's a new experience and a new adventure, honestly, because we didn't think we would be able to get that good enough amount of rose hips, and we did.
We did.
And it tasted even more good because we got to pick it ourselves, which was even more fun.
Yeah, I always find that even if we're having kind of a tired day, if we can get outside and take a breath of fresh air, it kind of revives our spirit, right?
Yeah, especially that, because I personally feel more myself in the winter because it's nice and cold and I can just be layered on layered. But
well, this is a nice cozy winter recipe. It's almost festive. It's almost like a Christmas recipe, but I'm wondering if these would be good to take on a hike too. They'd be a nice kind of almost like a granola bar type of thing, but in cookie form.
I feel like they would be.
We're very mindfully mixing this in. All the dry ingredients are... Look at the colors in this. I'm so excited. Can I? No, I won't.
I would have let you, honestly.
I know you would have let me. Thank you. This is so pretty. We're ready to pan these cookies. Yum.
I could eat this.
Love it. We use puffed wild rice in this recipe. The recipe was derived from Mama Way Cafe's famous chocolate chip sage cookie. We heated 2 tablespoons of canola oil and then added our wild rice, uncooked wild rice, into the pan. Watch it very carefully. It starts to puff. Do it in small batches. And then that's what we replaced our chocolate chips with. If you don't have wild rice, or you just can't live without your chocolate chips, you could add those into that recipe too. It's so pretty though. Look at the color. Do I have to flatten these, or will they flatten down on their own?
Depending on the recipe, actually. Sometimes if you put too much margarine or I guess oils, it would flatten so much that it would become like a crispy,
like a pancake.
Yeah,
yeah.
It happened today, and it was kind of sad. But sometimes it would just come out a bit. But ideally, most cookies will never stay this shape once in the oven.
So we don't need to flatten these; they're just going to form into their own little selves.
Yeah.
Okay, we could flatten them.
Okay.
I'm going to flatten one and just see what the difference is. Are you mad at me?
No.
Okay.
It'll be the test subject.
Okay, there you go. One test. So you want to leave about 2 inches between each cookie for room for expansion. Could we make this dough ahead of time and freeze it?
Yes, actually. It's like it's similar. It's honestly the same as every other cookie dough, and every cookie dough can be frozen and then used later.
Okay.
I don't know how long the life is in the freezer though, so
in my house not very long because I love cookies. Okay, here we have a pan. We'll put these in the oven at 350 for about 10 to 12 minutes, and then we'll check them. So our cookies are out of the oven, and is this the goldenness level that we want our cookies to be?
Yes, definitely, especially this one, and like it looks perfect in my opinion, but cookies will never be perfect.
Oh, and they don't have to be. And if depending on your oven, you might bake yours for 8 minutes. Someone else might bake them for 14. We rotated them halfway through too. Okay, can I try this? May I share with you?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
Please.
There you go. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll share with Miss C.
There you go.
Here.
Okay, has to be even.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
Mmm. Oh, that canola oil. Sorry to talk with my mouth full. The canola oil just really softened it up, but it's crunchy on the bottom. And then the wild rice is kind of crunchy. And the sage has this like savory but sweet goodness going on. Oh,
I love the sweetness that the cranberries bring in. Or like craisins.
Mm. Tastes like more. That is so good. Thank you so much for sharing this recipe, and thank you for having me once again in your beautiful space. And I hope you all try these and enjoy them as much as we have. Thank you so much for cooking with us.